I met Emily when I was 22. She was in her last year of college. I had just started working full-time after barely scraping through my degree. She was light where I was heavy, laughter where I was cautious. We met at a mutual friend's party, one of those crowded apartments where half the people are sitting on the floor with red plastic cups. She stood out. Not because she was the most beautiful girl there, though she was striking with her brown eyes and messy hair, but because she looked like she belonged everywhere. She could float between groups effortlessly, making everyone laugh, listening like she genuinely cared. I was the opposite, awkward, unsure, hiding behind a beer. But when we finally spoke, it felt like she saw me. Really saw me. Within an hour we were talking like we'd known each other for years. That night she wrote her number on my hand with a Sharpie. My skin smelled like ink for days, and I refused to wash it off until it faded naturally. The next few years with Emily were the happiest of my life. We built our relationship on long drives, late-night takeout, and surviving on cheap coffee. When we were broke, we laughed about it. When she stressed about school, I held her. When I hated my job, she told me I was more than the work I did. We got married at 26. It was a small ceremony, family, close friends, nothing extravagant. I still remember how she looked walking down the aisle, simple dress, hair pulled back, eyes locked on mine. She cried during her vows, and I thought, this is it. This is forever. For the first few years, it was everything I imagined. We saved for a house, adopted a dog, and made weekend rituals of pancakes on Sundays. Sure, we argued, every couple does, but never anything that shook us. I thought we were unshakable. But looking back now, maybe the cracks were already there. It started small. At first, I didn't even register it as anything unusual. Emily began working later hours. She had just gotten promoted at her firm, and I was proud of her. She'd always been ambitious, and it felt like everything was paying off. I encouraged her to go out for drinks with coworkers, told her not to worry about dinner, reminded her I'd take care of things at home. But then the phone calls started. She'd step outside to answer them, voice lowered. Sometimes she'd smile at something on her screen and quickly put it away when I asked. Just work stuff, she said. You wouldn't want to hear about it. I believed her. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? Then came the excuses, late meetings, urgent projects, networking events that kept her out past midnight. At first, I was just supportive. But over time, I noticed the patterns, the way she'd come home smelling of perfume that wasn't hers, or how she'd shower immediately after walking in the door. I told myself it was nothing. That she was just stressed, maybe insecure about climbing the corporate ladder. I didn't want to be the jealous husband. I wanted to trust her. But trust is a fragile thing. Once a crack appears, it doesn't take long before it shatters. The moment I started noticing her behavior, it was like a switch flipped in my brain. Suddenly, every little thing stood out. Things I'd ignored before became red flags I couldn't unsee. Emily began guarding her phone like it was a piece of state-level evidence. She used to leave it on the counter or the nightstand, notifications lighting up without a second thought. Now, it was always face down, locked, and, sometimes, taken with her into the bathroom. When I'd casually ask, "Who was that?" she'd respond too quickly. "Oh, just Sarah from work." But Sarah was someone she rarely talked about, and I'd never once heard her mention texting her after hours. I tried to brush it off. Maybe I was paranoid. Maybe I was imagining problems because everything else in my life felt so routine. But the doubt kept eating at me. Our 8th wedding anniversary should have been a night to celebrate. I booked a nice restaurant, ordered flowers to be delivered to her office, even left work early so I could meet her at home. At 6 p.m., she called. "Babe, I'm so sorry. They sprung a last-minute meeting on me. I don't think I'll make it tonight." My chest sank. "Emily, it's our anniversary." "I know. I hate it too. But I promise I'll make it up to you. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse her. I just sat there in silence after she hung up, staring at the 2 candles I'd lit on the table. I ate alone that night, the dog watching me with sad eyes, as if he understood more than I did. She didn't come home until after midnight. I pretended to be asleep when she crawled into bed, smelling faintly of wine and something musky that wasn't her perfume. A week later, I decided to surprise her. She had told me she'd be working late again, but her favorite takeout spot was on my way home, so I grabbed her usual order and drove to her office. Her car wasn't there. Confused, I parked and went inside, carrying the bag. The receptionist looked up at me. "Oh, hi. Emily already left for the day. About an hour ago." I stood there frozen, takeout bag dangling from my hand. My stomach churned. I managed to force a smile and mumble, "Thanks," before walking back out. I sat in my car for half an hour, staring at my phone, debating whether to call her. When I finally did, she picked up on the second ring. "Hey, I'm still at work. Can I call you later?" The lie hit me like a punch to the gut. I didn't confront her, not then. Instead, I drove home, appetite gone, the food turning cold on the passenger seat. That night she came home at 11:30, hair slightly messy, cheeks flushed. "Long day," she sighed, kicking off her heels. "I just need a shower." And I let her go. Because I was too afraid of the answer if I pushed. Our communication changed. Where we once talked about everything, our dreams, our frustrations, even dumb shows on Netflix, now conversations felt like walking through a minefield. "Who were you texting?" I'd ask casually. "Just a friend." "What friend? Why are you interrogating me?" That word, interrogating, cut deep. Suddenly, I was no longer her partner, but her accuser. And maybe I was. Maybe the paranoia had gotten into my bones. But when I tried to explain, she'd roll her eyes. "You're imagining things. You need to trust me." Trust. That word used to feel warm. Now it felt like poison. The breaking point, though, came with a so-called business trip. She told me she'd be flying out for 3 days to attend a conference in Chicago. The way she said it, eyes darting away, fingers fidgeting, set alarm bells ringing in my head. Still, I played along. I even helped her pack. I kissed her goodbye at the airport, told her to have fun like I wasn't screaming inside. On the second night, I couldn't resist. I checked our credit card account. Most charges looked normal, coffee shops, gas stations, groceries. But then one caught my eye. A hotel charge, in a city only an hour from us. Not Chicago. My throat went dry. I checked again, thinking maybe I misread it. But no, there it was. She wasn't in Chicago. She was a short drive away. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours. My mind raced with images I didn't want to see, her in someone else's arms, laughing the way she used to laugh with me, saying words she once whispered in my ear. When she came back, she carried a souvenir magnet, the kind you'd buy in an airport gift shop. She handed it to me with a smile. "See? Proof I went to Chicago." I smiled back, pretending to believe her, but inside I was falling apart. I couldn't live in limbo anymore. I needed the truth, no matter how much it hurt. So I started planning. I didn't want to snoop through her phone. I knew if I got caught, she'd flip it back on me. But there were other ways. I bought a small GPS tracker online, something discreet I could hide in her car. I told myself it was wrong, an invasion of privacy, but by then my marriage already felt like a stranger's house. The first time I checked the tracker, my heart nearly stopped. She told me she was working late. Her car. Parked outside a restaurant 2 towns over. A restaurant that happened to have a hotel right next to it. That night, she didn't come home until nearly 1 a.m. She claimed she'd been swamped with paperwork. I nodded, kissed her forehead, and said nothing. Because now I knew. And soon, I would have proof. The next week felt like living in a nightmare where every detail is sharp, but nothing makes sense. I'd go to work, sit at my desk, stare at spreadsheets, and see her face. I'd picture her laughing at someone else's jokes, lying in someone else's bed, while I played the fool at home. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. The dog would curl up at my feet at night, sensing something was wrong, while Emily showered longer than usual, humming tunes she never hummed before. I knew I had to act. It was a Thursday when she told me, "Don't wait up. Late meeting again." Her tone was rehearsed, her smile too quick. My heart pounded as I nodded, hiding the storm inside. The GPS tracker confirmed what I already suspected. Her car left work at 6:15 p.m., drove 30 minutes out of town, and stopped at the same hotel I'd seen before. This time, I didn't stay home. I drove. Hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white, chest tight, the radio off because I couldn't stand noise. When I pulled into the hotel parking lot, there it was, her car, neatly parked like nothing was wrong. My stomach twisted. For a long time, I just sat there, engine running, staring at her car. My whole body screamed to turn around, to go home, to stay ignorant. But something colder pushed me forward. I needed to see it. To destroy any last shred of doubt. The hotel lobby smelled of bleach and stale coffee. I walked to the front desk, palms sweating. "Hi," I said, forcing calm. "My wife's here for a work conference, but she hasn't been answering her phone. Could you check if she's checked in?" The clerk looked at me, then typed into her computer. "Yes, Emily Turner. Room 214. My chest tightened. Hearing her name connected to this place, it made everything real. I thanked the clerk, turned, and walked to the elevator. Every step felt heavy, like I was dragging chains. Outside room 214, I froze. I could hear muffled laughter inside. A man's voice. Her voice. My knees nearly buckled. I raised my hand and knocked. For a moment, silence. Then footsteps. The door cracked open. And there she was, hair messy, wearing a robe I'd never seen before, eyes wide with shock when she saw me. "Mark," she whispered. Behind her, a man appeared, shirtless, grinning like this was some kind of joke. The sight hit me like a hammer. My vision blurred, my ears rang. I wanted to scream, to punch him, to shake her until she explained. But all I could do was stand there, breathing hard, my world collapsing. "What the hell is this?" My voice came out low, shaking. She stammered, pulling the robe tighter. I can explain." "Explain?" I laughed, bitter and hollow. "You told me you were in Chicago. You told me you were working late. And here you are, in a hotel, with him." The man stepped forward, smug. "Hey, relax, man. Shut your mouth," I snapped, the rage finally boiling through. "This is between me and my wife." Emily started crying, tears streaking down her cheeks. "I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did." Those words cut deeper than any blade. It just happened. Like she tripped and fell into bed with him. Like years of lies were an accident. "How long?" I asked, voice breaking. She looked away. "A few months." I closed my eyes. My hands shook so violently I had to clench them into fists. "You ruined us," I whispered. "Mark, please," she begged, reaching out. "I still love you." I stepped back. "No. You love yourself. And whatever this is. But not me. Not anymore." I walked away before I did something I'd regret. My chest felt like it was caving in, every breath sharp. Behind me, she called my name, voice desperate. The man laughed softly, like it was nothing. I didn't look back. In the parking lot, I leaned against my car and sobbed for the first time in years. Not quiet tears, but gut-wrenching sobs that shook my whole body. Everything I thought I knew about my life was gone in a single night. The drive home was a blur. Streetlights smeared past like ghosts. I don't even remember parking, I just remember sitting on the couch, staring at our wedding photo on the wall, and feeling like I was looking at strangers. She came home the next morning. No suitcase, no explanations, just silence. She sat across from me at the kitchen table, eyes red, face pale. "I don't want to lose you," she whispered. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw not the woman I married, but the stranger who had lied to my face for months. "You already did," I said. And with that, the last thread holding us together snapped. The days after the hotel shattered me in ways I didn't think were possible. I'd always thought heartbreak was dramatic crying, sad songs, maybe a night on the couch. But this was different. This was silence. Emptiness. A hollowness so deep it echoed inside my chest. We barely spoke. She tried, soft apologies, promises that she'd cut things off, swearing it was a mistake. But when someone burns your house down, you don't thank them for bringing a bucket of water afterward. I slept in the guest room. The bed felt foreign, the sheets cold. Every time I heard her footsteps in the hall, my stomach twisted. I hated her, I loved her, I missed her, and I couldn't stand the sight of her, all at once. 2 weeks later, I contacted a lawyer. The word divorce felt like poison in my mouth, but saying it also gave me a strange relief. At least it meant I was taking control of something again. When I told her, she broke down. She begged, screamed, swore she'd change. She threw the word therapy around like it was a magic spell that could erase everything. But there's no therapy for betrayal. No counselor can unmake the image burned into my mind of her standing in that hotel doorway with him behind her. The papers were signed in the fall. 10 years together, over with a few signatures and a cold handshake from the attorney. I moved into a small apartment. It was quiet, too quiet. I tried filling the silence with TV, music, even inviting friends over, but nothing worked. Every corner echoed with her absence. The dog came with me, at least. Some nights, when I felt like I couldn't breathe, he'd curl up against my side, grounding me, reminding me I wasn't completely alone. But there are still mornings when I wake up reaching for her, before reality hits. Nights when I dream about our early days, only to open my eyes and feel that crushing weight of loss. People like to say time heals all wounds. Maybe it does for some. But betrayal is different. It plants questions that never stop growing. Was our whole marriage a lie? Did she ever really love me? Or was I just a placeholder until someone more exciting came along? The worst part isn't even losing her. It's losing the version of myself that believed in her. The man who thought forever meant something. That man is gone. In his place is someone harder, colder, someone who will never look at love the same way again. So here I am, writing this. Not because I want pity, but because I need the words out of me. Because maybe if I let them go, I can start breathing again. Emily's still out there, living her life. Maybe she's with him, maybe not. I don't ask. I don't care. As for me, I'm surviving. One day at a time. One step at a time. The scar is still raw, but at least it's mine. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Love can build you up higher than you ever thought possible. But betrayal? Betrayal will burn it all down, and leave you standing in the ashes, wondering if you'll ever feel whole again.